What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first video for 2025. It's been a complete chaotic start to the year, folks. I didn't actually start working until the second week of January. Had some time off over Christmas and New Year, and it has been a full-on month to say the least, guys. I've just written down a few of the jobs here that have been a few of the standouts, so I've got a bit to cover. So I did two CR485 cam kits. I did a twin cam fat boy with a set of 204s. Did a 124 cubic inch build, a 128 cubic inch build, a CR480 and a CVO, and did a CR480 in a Sport Glide. But guys, I did a CVO ST new bike sale with a set of bars on it as well, so an exhaust system. So a bit to cover there. So straight off the bat, let's go over and check out Grant's CVO. Now this thing, he came down from Cairns, all the way down, so Cairns, down to see me here in Toowoomba. Let's go over and check out his bike. He had, unfortunately, Grant had he's had a bit of a rough history with the bike. So he had it built, worked on and tuned at another shop, and it's had some dramas there. The guy was supposed to install gear drive cams, and as you know, we pulled this apart, and they're chain drive cams, so a little bit of a, bit of a fib went on there with for the guy, but that's unfortunate. On top of that, there was a few other diagnosing issues that had been misdiagnosed. Some parts have been replaced that probably shouldn't have. He's had some sumping issues and just far too many issues, and I believe Grant just had a gut full of it. So look, let's have a look. So that's his bike there. It's a 128 cubic inch build. It was running the S&S 550 camshaft in there. Now Grant's complaint was, at the time he thought it might have been the good kit to go for, but after having it built and then riding it and realizing it doesn't make any sort of good power until, the mid-range up there and on. So, which is obviously not how the majority of tourers are ridden. So I've pulled the 550 out of there and we put in the Cyclerama CR480. Now, I'm not going to put the dyno sheet of what it was making up on screen because it has the shop's name up there, and I don't want to get involved with all this, because I've done rework for that particular shop before, so I'm just not going to get involved in that. But I'll put in the comments exactly what it was making, and I will describe the graph as best I can for you. But now, this is what it's doing now since I've tuned it. So, guys, you can see there, we're down a little bit on horsepower, but that's what this 480 is about. Like, look at that torque, guys. 2,500 RPM, we're just on 140 foot-pounds, just thereabouts under. And what are we now? 3,200 was sort of peak torque there, 145-ish foot-pounds. Well, 147 is the peak, but plenty of torque right there in the low to mid-range. Like, that's early on in the RPM. That's exactly what we're after for a bagger. So while it did lose a little bit of horsepower, keep in mind the torque curve on the other one looked a little bit sad here, and of course it made more power up the top, but this is where you want the power out of that. So really, really happy with that result. Grant is going to love this thing. He's due to fly in, I believe, in the next week or so to come and pick it up and ride it home. So thanks for coming down to see me, Grant. Right, what else did we do? Shane's Sport Glide. Shane rode up from Canberra. He'd been talking to me over email for a little while about some options. Shane had a exhaust pipe in mind that he wanted, and it was on back order, so we waited, got the pipe in, and Shane made the journey up from Canberra. We did the CR480 cam kit in his. It tuned up really, really nice. It was exactly what he was after. We did a few other bits and pieces in there as well, so obviously we fitted the exhaust pipe, did the cam kit, did a service on it as well, and obviously dyno tuned it up. So really, really happy with that. Thank you so much for coming up and seeing me, Shane. I know a lot more guys are starting to travel to see me, so I really, really appreciate it, guys. I mean, it does mean a lot to me, and it is very reassuring that I'm doing the best I can to provide the best work for you guys. You guys are traveling hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers to come and see me, so I really do appreciate it. So thanks to everyone who travels. What else do we do? Dwayne, I did a 128 cubic inch build on a fat boy for Dwayne. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, Dwayne is now looking at one of the Trask Tornado turbo kits. So hopefully someone is going to be the first turbo bike I build in this shop. Hopefully it's going to be Dwayne. If not, there's a few other contenders that are humming and hawing about it. So I am going to build a turbo bike. I want to do it this year, guys. So that's going to be exciting. Now, let's talk about Mark's Road King. So we did a big 124. Well, we did a big build on that. We did suspension. We did the engine, obviously, suspension. Did a service. We did some accessories as well. Did a new speedo, different bits and pieces. But that one there, let's have a look at some of the footage of that one. What I did, because it was one of the earlier first generation M8 engines, which were prone to something with the first and second generation oil pumps. Of course, we did go for the Screaming Eagle Super Sucker Race Series billet oil pump and cam plate combo. That worked out really, really good for this. I also did some S&S piston oilers in there as well, and obviously the full build on top of it. Now, that one was a really cool build. Obviously, as I said, we did some suspension, did some cartridges, Screaming Eagle cartridges in the front, did the Screaming Eagle Öhlins rear suspension as well. That was a cool build, so that was a lot of fun. The other thing, guys, I did a CVO ST. So the CVO ST, right, with that one, did some burly highballs. Now, those bars look, when I saw the build sheet, I was like, God, that's going to look a bit silly. But after doing it, I think it looks pretty cool. Now, I actually had to go to the previous model year CVO risers because the ST has the pullback riser, which would have, you don't put ape hangers on pullback risers. They've got to go on small, short risers. So we did those, and I thought it looked really great. We did a full system on it as well, the Chromeworks full system. And obviously, as most of you guys know, we are running 3 O2 sensors on these new bikes. So we've got 2 pre-cat and 1 post-cat. Now, obviously, this Chromeworks system does not have the provision for the post-cat sensor. So what did we do? Simply just took a step drill, drilled out a hole in the pipe where the O2 sensor is located, roughly, welded in a bung. Show you some clips here, a bit of footage or a picture, but welded in the bung and fitted the sensor. Easy as. I know for a fact these exhaust pipe manufacturers will have that provision in there in the coming months, no doubt, for sure. So that was a really cool build as well. Another thing, guys, that's not written down here that I've just remembered was a lowrider S from the APE and Harley Davidson Australia collaboration. Now, as you are aware, Harley did do, in conjunction with APE, the Talons, which were the Road Glide ST builds. We did 131 cubic inch, well, they did a 131 cubic inch engine combo in there with a few bits and pieces, did some suspension, some bars, a lot of black. This time around they did the lowrider S, the Rogue, and that one featured a fueling moto 2-in-1, 122 cubic inch Screaming Eagle kit, camshaft in there, 515 camshaft. It was a really cool build. On top of that, the customer wanted some big brakes on there. We did some risers on there for him, Thrashing risers. What else did we do? I did put some cartridges in the front, Screaming Eagle Öhlins cartridges in the front. The Rogue combo build had the Öhlins already on there, and obviously the blacked out wheels. That was a really, really cool build. So guys, while it's been an absolute hectic start to the year, I almost forgot about the transmission, guys. Let's take a look at that. Now, while third gear we know has been, well, I've personally never seen the third gear blow up. I've seen plenty of pictures of it, I'm not denying it. Let's have a look at this. This was second gear. So here's our main shaft. Second gear should look like that. But somebody hasn't gone to the dentist. Anyhow, second gear on the main shaft is virtually, I would say that's what, 60%, 65, 70%. Oh no, it's stuffed, right? On the counter shaft here, it is obviously worn as well. It's had a few, it's got a few marks on there, guys. So that this one came out of a 128 cubic inch breakout. Now, as obviously it's a constant mesh transmission, so as it's sitting there idling in neutral, everything's turning around. And of course, when this was sitting there idling, and then it would slide around, and then this would go bang and bang, and it was making the most awful sound when you'd sit there and just have the bike idling. So we're going to be on this one, guys. I know we're going to be doing we're going to be repairing it. Obviously, we're going to replace the gear. Well, because the second gear is part of the main shaft, the entire main shaft has to be replaced, and the gear here as well. I've got parts on order for that thing. So that'll be going back together in the coming days. Now, guys, this one's just going to go back together like that. Now, I do know, though, guys, that they do make a Baker transmission. So I do know that they make a Baker transmission replacement, you know, the grudge box and all that sort of stuff. So I'm very much aware of the options there, guys. Now, the customer is too, but of course the customer is also conscious of his budget. So unfortunately, the budget's not going to allow him to do the full transmission replacement at the moment. I didn't get much footage of the bikes I was building. So guys, I really apologise about that. Obviously, the last thing I'm thinking about when I'm so busy trying to put these engines together and get these bikes built for people is thinking about setting up the phone and getting the camera and getting the shot, because while I do like to get as much of it as I can, sometimes I just want to get back in the zone and, you know, I don't want to muck things up. So sorry I didn't get much footage for this year, but well, this video, sorry. I do hope to bring out a video every month this year. So I know I said that sort of late last year, and I'm pretty much hit my target, but I want to make sure I'm exceeding that. So at least one video a month is what I'm aiming for this year, folks. So even if it's going to be more of this month in review type stuff, but I'm going to make a very conscious effort to get a little bit more content as I go. I've just got a heap of bookings already lined up for February. I've got cam kits, I've got engine builds. I just finished, well, actually yesterday, so I'm filming this on a Saturday. Friday, I just finished a 128 cubic inch Sneaky Pete kit in a road glide, and that thing came up really good. So that will be in next month's video as well, so stay tuned for that. But guys, thanks for all the support. I really mean that. It is so cool to engage with people via the emails and the comments and help get you guys sorted, point you in the right direction, give you what I feel is the best advice and the right advice, and answer all your questions. So guys, please leave your comments down the bottom. Any questions, all my details are down in the description there. You can reach me on the email, you can call the store here, whatever you need to do. But yeah, subscribe if you haven't, guys, and hit the bell, notification button, all that sort of stuff. And thanks for watching. See you next time.